Alrighty. Hello, welcome. I think we have a great turnout today. Thank you all for coming for the Careers in Science lecture series in fall 2021. We got a very busy fall semester. We planned, I think, 5 lectures. And the first one, this whole series of fall 2021 will be kicked off by Miss Anna Dorado. She was one of our students. She attended USCL in 2018 to 2020. And apparently she's a science major. And so most of our science faculty know about her, and she is very impressed by her performance when she was in USCL. In particular, I'm sorry, can you hear me? Okay. For those are not presenters, please turn off your mic, please. Thank you. And to continue, Miss Anna was one of the most impressive students we had in USCL, and now she majored in biological science with a minor in chemistry, and now she's a pre-PA student at US in Columbia. And like I mentioned, she's one of the best students we had, and aced in, I think, all science classes, even including the most advanced chemistry and biology classes. And I think she won the Student of the Year in 2020, right? 2020 or 2020, I think. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Ms. Anna Dorado for her presentation about her journey to the PA path. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I am a pre-PA student currently at the University of South Carolina. I was formerly a USCL student, as Dr. Sai mentioned. Please do not hesitate to ask any questions after the presentation. Oh, there we go. So a little bit about me. My name is Anna Dorado. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I attended Indiana High School, and I'm currently pursuing my major in biological sciences with a minor in chemistry. I'm currently a senior at U of SC, and I'm working as a CNA at Lexington Medical Center. So I will be discussing my journey on being a pre-PA student at both UFCL and U of SC. So to start off, what is a physician assistant? Physician assistants are medical professionals who diagnose illness, develop and manage treatment plans, prescribe medications, and often serve as a patient's principal healthcare provider. Currently, the name physician assistant has been changed to physician associate. However, it's not official in hospitals or doctors' offices due to it being a large change in the title. They're hoping for it to be a gradual change and hope that this name can adapt really well to patients. Me personally, I think it describes the physician assistant career much better being called a physician associate than a physician assistant, because they're not assistants to physicians. So how do you become a PA? First, I personally did this. I shadowed a physician assistant before even attending USCL. I tried to imagine myself in their shoes. I asked many questions. Like in high school, they were really very happy to have me there. So I definitely recommend shadowing a physician assistant beforehand. Next, obtain a bachelor degree of your choice. However, you have to keep in mind that you have to finish PA program prerequisites, which can vary in between programs. And also you have to have a minimum of 500 to 1,000 hour patient care experience. This includes being a CNA, an EMT, a phlebotomist, a nurse, a scribe. And again, this can vary in between programs. I highly recommend doing your own research on the programs you want to apply to. I personally have a spreadsheet where I have them all listed out, where I can just kind of refer back and make sure that I am meeting those prereqs that they're looking for. Also included in your patient care hours is shadowing hours. I believe that USC School of Medicine here in Columbia, they accept shadowing hours to be part of your patient care hours. And also the next step would be to take the GRE, which most programs require it. However, there are some programs that are requiring the PA CATs. I know that MUC at Charleston, they require the PA CATs. I personally think that the GRE is just taking it alone will get you into a lot of PA programs versus a PA CAT. It depends on what schools are using that as their decision to pick their PA students. And the next step is to do the CASPA and attend interviews that you may have. So this is a timeline that shows what I followed throughout my years at USCL. These are my first 2 years. I hope this helps you guys get a little organized. Again, this varies between person to person, but this is what I did. During my first semester, I shadowed a PA, and this is up to you for how long you want to shadow them for. I recommend trying to shadow different specialties and also creating relationships with them, because it looks really good to PA schools when you have that relationship with a practicing physician assistant. After my second semester, I obtained a patient care license. This includes anything like a CNA, being a scribe, an EMT. You can go for phlebotomy or pharmacy tech. I personally did CNA because it was the most affordable and the fastest way for me to get a license and get my patient care hours. I know that currently in York Tech, they do CNA, and a lot of the places in Rock Hill also do CNA license. In my third semester, I started to obtain patient care hours. Most jobs understand that you are a full-time student and they're willing to work with your school schedule. I've never had any conflict with work and school. I was very direct whenever I first applied to these positions. I told them that I'm a full-time student and I'm looking for something that will be flexible with my schedule. And now moving on to the fourth semester, I started to get involved. I had a leadership position. I was an active member in some clubs that I was interested in at USCL. And I also did undergraduate research. I really emphasize undergraduate research because it's really helped me in the long run with not only like classes, but also just meeting different types of people and exposing myself to what I'll be doing in the future as well. A little bit on that later though. This is a spreadsheet that I have. I kind of wanted to show a screenshot of it. You can see down below that there's shadowing, volunteering, why healthcare, research, direct patient care contact, and work experience that I've had previously. So you can see in the first column, I have where, which has the place, and then an email, a number, address, number of hours, and a description as to what I did there. I have volunteering, which has a similar setup, and all the other tabs have a similar setup as well. This helped me get organized and kind of keep track with what I've been doing the past 4 years of undergrad. I forget what I do the next day. And so this just kind of helped me get organized to remember what I've done and make sure that I'm accurate with my applications. Sometimes you can miss some things that you've done and you'll go back and you can refer to it. So I highly recommend making a spreadsheet or something of that sort that can get you guys organized. So some tips that have helped me throughout school as a pre-PA and just a student in general. Organization. Organization has helped me tremendously in undergrad. I have agendas, calendars. You can have folders to separate your subjects. but definitely recommend having an agenda or a calendar in undergrad, as well for as a pre-PA student, because in PA school, you're gonna have exams, multiple exams back to back. You have to learn how to have time management skills and just be organized with everything. And also working ahead of time is another tip that I recommend. I know that procrastination is a big deal for undergraduate students. I have procrastination, but working little by little has definitely helped me with all my projects, my papers. So I don't have to work under pressure like 30 minutes before the due date. So I definitely recommend working ahead of time. Not only is it going to help you as an undergrad, it's going to help you for graduate school if you can. You can work ahead, of course, but just try to set a little bit of time to work on something little by little. That's something that has helped me a lot in school. Also, asking questions. My professors know that I ask a lot of questions. If there's something I didn't understand, I would either go to office hours or I'd ask them after class. I think that asking questions is a really good idea. If you don't understand something, just ask. Worst case scenario, you have to refer to the textbook. I mean, asking questions is great, not only in undergrad, but also in graduate school. It's going to help you understand things more and you can apply it more in the future. Using your resources as well. I personally had to use the Academic Success Center a few times where I didn't understand a subject, so I went to tutoring. So I definitely recommend using your resources as a undergrad. Also, some self-care. Self-care has been a really big contributor to my success in school. I tend to at least set a day where I don't do anything school related. I tend to just do something that makes me happy. I can go see a friend or just watch a movie or go to the gym if that's what makes you happy. But self-care is definitely something that needs to be very emphasized as a student. So these are some tips that have helped me. So some ways to distinguish yourself as a PA candidate is to have a unique major. It doesn't have to be only science-based majors. You can have any major, but you have to keep in mind that you have to finish your pre-PA, prerequisites in order to apply to PA school. You can also obtain a minor. I personally think that having a major and a minor is going to be something that can set you apart, because having a major in general is difficult, and then also obtaining a minor would just kind of like emphasize that you're a little more, like not a little more serious, but you definitely don't mind the challenge of school. Also, undergraduate research. Undergraduate research, again, has opened many doors for me. It's helped me form relationships with people and also learn a lot of different skills within the lab. Mission trips are also a way to distinguish yourself from others. I personally never done a mission trip, but if I had the opportunity to, I would do it because it's something that PA schools like to see. And also study abroad is also another way to distinguish yourself. Again, I didn't do it, but I know PA schools like to see that. Okay, so a little bit of undergraduate research. I personally have 1.5 years of undergraduate research, and I really want to emphasize this because I believe that it's opened many different doors for me, especially as a pre-PA. Due to my exposure to research at USCL, I was able to obtain a position in extracting and purifying DNA currently at the University of South Carolina. Everything that I've learned at USCL, I basically am doing it here. So I definitely recommend trying to go for undergraduate research if you can. I worked personally with Dr. Galanga and Dr. Johnson, who are both professors in the science department. And they were great resources for me, and I learned so much from them. And if you're very interested in this, you can talk to me about this later. I highly recommend to do it and be very engaged within the process. Okay, so moving on to why I personally chose the PA route instead of becoming a doctor. For me, I could get into the field much faster. It's less school time because since it's a master's degree, which means that there's less depth, and also the lateral mobility. It's a lot easier to change in between specialties as a PA than it is as a MD or a DO. I don't have to go back to school if I decide to change my specialties. And knowing me personally, I tend to get very bored over the same subject over and over again. So I like the fact that it was easier for me to change in between specialties without having to go back to school. There's also a flexible lifestyle, and PAs are currently the #1 job in healthcare. So that's a really big thing to keep in mind. So reasons why not to become a PA, it's a master's degree. Personally, for me, that wasn't a con, but for others, it could be a con. You won't have the title of a doctor, and you will have to work under the supervision of an MD or DO, but that varies between each physician. Some physicians have more trust in you. It just depends on your relationship with that physician. Personally, when I've shadowed PAs, I haven't seen any conflict with autonomy. And also some limitations vary in state to state for PAs. Some states tend to be more PA friendly than others. That's just depends on the state that you're going to obtain your license in, and I would recommend doing your research as well as to what kind of limitations you may have as a PA. Some resources is the APPA, the American Academy of Physician Assistants, which is a platform that educates pre-PAs and currently practicing physician assistants. And they also share the latest news about the PA profession. The PA platform is also a website that has helped me as a pre-PA with almost any question that I had regarding to PA school. Also, physician assistant YouTube channels and Instagrams. This kind of helped me give an understanding of how physician assistants' lives are on a daily basis. They tend to share what they do and their specialty, which has helped me a lot with my decisions. And also just physician assistant students. I personally think that's the #1 resource because they're actually within what you're about to go into, and they can be honest with you and tell you what it's like being a student. So definitely recommend that. So in conclusion, physician assistants are primary healthcare providers who can treat, diagnose, prescribe under the supervision of an MD or a DO. Being a pre-PA is difficult. However, it's very manageable and you're exposed to healthcare prematurely. I highly encourage anyone interested in medicine to explore this career. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to email me at this email, and I'm going to leave the chat open for any questions.
Thank you, Anna. For those of you, if you want to watch this again, just for information, the video will be posted on the USCL Kim Club YouTube channel. We'll post that on our website too. If you have any questions, please say it or leave a comment or raise your hand. I saw Dr. Johnson had to have a question. Please go ahead.
Did you type it in the chat, Dr. Johnson? Sorry.
I think she's connecting. We can with her.
Oh, okay.
I think Blake Clark has a question asking, do you have study tips?
Yes. Well, I guess it depends on the class. For sciences, I know for organic chemistry, at least with Dr. Sai and Dr. Berg, I had a whiteboard where I would just write down a bunch of chemical reactions and things that I personally thought were important. So a whiteboard would be great for study tips so we don't use so much paper. I also had notebooks where I would look at the textbook and also the notes and try to compare the two, and I made notes off of that. things that made sense to me. I just kind of put 2 and 2 together into 1 page and summarized. That's what helped me personally. That's for sciences. Anything in particular do you want a study tip for? Chemistry. Okay, chemistry. Yep, that's basically what I did. I used whiteboards and I used textbooks, and also I did a lot of examples that they'd share in the textbooks. So I use textbooks a lot. So for me, that's what helped me. I know it's not the most fun thing in the world, but it's definitely helped me a lot. Let's see. Dr. Johnson, how many PA schools are you applying to when the applications are due? So I'm currently looking about, honestly, 4 PA schools. I want to apply to more, but I'm going to be honest, I'm only looking at 4 that I'm really interested in. And do you know how many students are accepted compared to how many applications? Okay, so in Columbia, currently here at USC, they get a lot more applicants than they accept students. I think that's just kind of a thing anywhere for PA schools currently, because the physician assistant career has been very popular lately. It's definitely gotten a lot more competitive over the years. So I personally just try my best and try to better my, I guess my resume whenever I start to apply to PA school. So that's also another reason why I decided to stay and finish my minor instead of graduating this semester. I thought that having a minor can set me apart from other applying applicants. If we offered a CNA in our campus here, would you recommend to best help our students prepare for that test? Do you? Okay. If you offered CNA on campus, I personally passed the exam on my first try, but that also depends on, I personally think it also depends on how much you practice for it, because I had to practice for the test. I had to like wash my hands. I had to learn how to dress patients correctly, how to feed them correctly. I do think USCL would be good idea, because considering that I had to go out of my way, kind of out of my way. I had to go to Rock Hill, wasn't that bad, but I had to go to Rock Hill to get the license, and I would have definitely wanted to do it at USCL if I could, especially knowing that I'm already familiar with the campus and everything that's already there. How did you go about doing undergraduate research, and what did you do research on? So I went about doing undergraduate research, honestly, Dr. Johnson and Dr. Kalanga were my professors, and they were talking about undergraduate research and me and some other peers of mine. We decided to do research with them. It can count as either a biology or a chemistry class, depending on what type of research it is. I believe that mine was considered biology research, an elective. So it actually did count towards my major. So if you're looking for an elective for your major, you could do undergraduate research. You just kind of need someone that is willing to be the mentor for the research. And let's see, what did you do research on? So right now I'm doing research on, I'm currently helping a graduate student here at USC, where I'm purifying DNA from Daphnia. And we are trying to see how, well, originally we did RNA interference to knock down certain genes within the Daphnia to see what happens. It goes more into detail, but I'm not going to bore you with the details. And I'm currently just helping him extract DNA and purifying it. So currently I'm about to go actually after this, go to the lab, and we're about to run gel electrophoresis because we just did PCR last week. So we're about to just continue with that. Now that I'm a senior, what's been my favorite part in college? Well, it's funny enough because I lived through the COVID epidemic like we all did. Pandemic like we all did. And it kind of interfered with my, I guess you could say, my college experience. So I kind of feel like a freshman, oddly enough, because I did have 1 year, my junior year, all online, and I wasn't able to be on campus, and I transferred over to USC as a junior. So I kind of feel like a freshman, but overall, I really enjoy the fact that it's very on your own time. You're a lot more free. You're able to work at your own pace. You're able to make your own schedules, things like that. And also, I really enjoy the clubs here. The clubs here are great. There's different types of clubs for every kind of person. So that's what I guess that's what I like about being a senior here. Thank you. Thank you, Walter. How did you get your research project at? Okay, so I got my research position because in the biology, I guess, department, they send out a lot of emails basically talking about what kinds of things are available right now, what types of research. And I just kind of jumped on board on one, and I had to do an interview, and I had to do a virtual interview, and then I had to do another interview in person to see if I was a good candidate for the position. And after I got a yes from the lab, they helped me choose what kind of project would be best for me. So I'm with this undergraduate student because it's something that I'm interested in. So I highly recommend trying to go for a research project that you're interested in, not just because you feel like you have to, but because you're genuinely interested. Definitely helps with the different types of things that you might be asked during PA school, because they're going to want to see that you were genuinely interested in your research. You weren't just doing it just to kind of like check it off of your resume. And I'm currently volunteering. I am not paid. I believe to get paid, you have to do some extra paperwork, and I think you have to go through like the whole school system. And that didn't really work for me, considering that they would have me be at the lab for more hours. And being a full-time student and also working at Lexington Medical Center, it was just a lot for me to handle, on top of getting to meet these specific hours at the lab. So I decided to do volunteering instead. Are there any more questions?
Anyone has any more questions for Anna? Like Anna mentioned, if you're interested in research, you always talk to your professor. Even at USCL, I think a lot of our professors here, chemistry, biology, our science faculties all have research projects that would love to invite or include you to these projects. So if you have that intention, please talk to your professors. That's the best way to get in research. Do you guys have any questions for Anna? Or again, you can feel free to contact her, and our video will be posted on USL website.
Dr. Johnson, what is your minor? Okay, I am currently pursuing a minor in chemistry. I know you're probably very happy about that. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. If you have new questions, thank you all for coming, and thank you again, Anna. That's a great job, and I think we're all very proud of you. And hopefully, I mean, when you're at PA school or in the future path, we can have you back in a year or two to hear more about you.
I hope so too. I'll hopefully be applying next April, so I'll
Awesome.
be.
Let us keep us all posted, and we're very happy to hear about your success.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Anna, again, and thank you everyone for coming. Have a good day. Thank you.